So you shared a video where you said in the IDF you were supposed to tell your commander no if you feel like something is unethical. What is the consequence of that?
You're not just supposed to tell him no. You're expected to tell him no. If there's something that you see is unjust or wrong or immoral, you have the full right and you'll be backed by the IDF to say no. The IDF isn't perfect. It's not pink. Every army, every country has their problems. But if you as an IDF soldier see something wrong, it's your responsibility to say, no, I'm not doing this. And you'll be 100% fine.
If I can ask you, is that a situation you've been in?
No, all of my commanders thankfully have been, go by the books and follow. We've been in a lot of ethical dilemmas, but nothing that I've been in made me question my commander's decision.
One of the most common questions that I get is, why does the IDF bomb civilian areas? What do you say about that?
Yeah, it's very easy to just see that and say the IDF is horrible. Before, we have something called the IDF Code of Ethics. I actually brought it with me here today. This is something that you're given as soon as you enlist, okay? Every soldier has this, and it has all the ethics and the morals that we have. And one of them, before we even start talking about the things you have to follow, one of them is, human dignity, meaning that every life, Israeli or Palestinian or whatever, is valued. Put yourself in this situation, okay? There is a Hamas operative, Hamas terrorist, firing out of a civilian building, out of a hospital, out of a school, out of a playground. And this isn't a theory. I'm telling you, this is what I saw with my own eyes when I was in Gaza. And he's putting Israeli civilians in danger. So normally, most armies would just fire back. But the IDF knows that in this civilian building, you have Hamas terrorists and you also have civilians. So because the IDF, one of the most important things in the IDF is human dignity, civilian life, the IDF will do a couple things before it bombs these buildings. Number one, it will text everyone in the area in Arabic saying, hey, you are in a dangerous area. You need to move because this area will be bombed. Number one. Number two is they'll also call them in Arabic saying you have to move. The third thing is that it'll drop leaflets in Arabic saying, in this area, you need to move because you'll be bombed. And the fourth thing they do is the roof knocking. They'll drop a bomb on the building, but it's a dud bomb. It's not a real bomb. It just makes noise to try and get people to wake up in case for some reason they didn't see the leaflets, the text message, or the phone call. Only then does the IDF bomb it. Sometimes they give them 2 hours to leave, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 24 hours. Now, if you look at it from like a military perspective, the IDF is literally telling Hamas, hey, we're going to bomb this area. You should leave. That gives Hamas the chance to leave. And we know that. But we also care about civilian life, which is why we do this before we bomb these buildings. But eventually it comes to a point where you need to protect yourself. Israel can't let Hamas or whoever in Gaza continue to shoot rockets at us and not do anything about it. We have to protect ourselves, and that's what we do.
Considering that so many of the Gazan civilians were the ones doing the kidnappings on October 7th, and how many of these Palestinian civilians who claim that they're not a part of Hamas are leading some of the terrorist attacks that happen in Israel, how do you even distinguish who is a soldier from that area versus who is just a civilian?
That's the hard part, man. It's like these Hamas terrorists, they don't wear a uniform that says, look at me. They don't have a name tag that says, my name is Muhammad and I'm a Hamas terrorist. We realize that the way that we can identify them is when they are about to shoot at us. Okay, so we can't pull the trigger until we are in danger. And in the ceasefire in the beginning of the war, I think it was in December 2023, my unit was responsible for all the units in Gaza left, and one unit stayed to ensure that, nothing is, the terrorists don't move around. And we saw the terrorists mixing with the civilians. And there's nothing you can do about it because they're mixing in. You identify them when they have a gun and they're about to shoot at you.
From your perspective as an IDF soldier, what are the Palestinians even so angry about?
How far do you want to go back? Like we can, we got to be here all day, but
I would say in the more recent context, pre-October 7th, but let's say in the last couple decades.
Yeah.
If you had to summarize their perspective, where do you think their anger is stemming from?
So let's talk about when Israel was established. Okay. So in The Palestinians call it the Nakba. We call it, Independence Day, 1948, May 14th. The Arabs were offered about 50% of the land. The way they wanted to split the land was not by, let's choose what goes to Israel and what goes to the Gazans. It was split on where the Israelis lived, the Jews lived, and where the Arabs lived. The Arabs didn't agree to that. So the British were like, screw it, I'm out, let's go. Now, the Palestinians, the Arabs, because there was no Palestine back then, they left Israel for a few reasons. Number one, they chose to leave. There was a war and it was dangerous. Number two, their Arab leaders said, guys, take your keys, which is why many of them wear keys, leave into other countries and come back when it'll be safe for you to come back. And also some of them were pushed out because it was a war. Many Arabs see this as Israel taking over their land. So since then, and through all the wars that's been happening since then, 63, 67, 73, and Lebanon, like all of this, all these wars between the Arabs and the Palestinians, all these wars between the Arabs and the Israelis, it's like they claim it as their land. I'm not going to lie to you. There were Arabs living in the land of Israel before, but they have shown time and time again that they don't want peace. They don't want a two-state solution. They want the entire land for themselves. How many peace processes have we gone through? How many times have we been so close to giving the Arabs so much land? They just don't want to live with us. They want all or nothing. Mm-hmm. And that means that if they get all, we're gone. So,
from the river to the sea, as they say.
Yes, Palestine will be free. They're genius, by the way. The chants they have, they're so good. They have a great marketing team.
Great marketing team. It's great. That's how Rudy Rockman describes it. They have the wrong message, but a great messenger.
For sure.
So I want to know, why are there so many checkpoints in the West Bank?
So the checkpoints started right around the Second Intifada. The Intifadas were, a series of violent attacks against the Jews. The second one around the year 2000 was much more violent than the first one, and it included the regular terror attacks where a Palestinian would try and go and kill an Israeli, but it also included bus bombings, it included cafe bombings. So Israel decided to put checkpoints in areas that were problematic. Why? Not to, make a difference between Israelis and Palestinians, but because Israelis were being put in danger. Palestinians were coming from the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, whatever you want to call it, and they were blowing up buses. They were killing Israelis. So checkpoints were set up to ensure that soldiers would check these Palestinians, and a lot of weapons were found. A lot of terror attacks were stopped. And I mean, like, people talk about the checkpoints like you're disturbing the lives of the Palestinians. What happens when you fly to another country? When you go to, like, I came to this building, I was checked by security.
You sure were.
Okay.
Don't try it. Don't try it. Okay.
I don't understand what the difference is. Like, if there is a threat and you put up checkpoints, just like you do at the airport or wherever, to minimize terror, and those checkpoints work because those terrorists get caught, I don't know what the issue is. You want to take down the checkpoints? Stop conducting the terror attacks. You want to move freely like you did pre-Second Intifada? Stop killing Israelis. Not so hard.